Hello students, I am Pramod Jadhav from Silver Green English School, Vidyanagari. I welcome you to this class. So here we study chapter 2 for students of class 9. Second part of the chapter, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. First of all, I would like to tell you about Bismillah Khan. He was a very renowned Shehnai player in India. He is a legend. Why do I say he is a legend? Because he did something that has historical significance. That means historical importance. He played the Shehnai on the day India got the independence, that is 15th August 1947. At the Red Fort, before the Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his speech. Before that, Bismillah Khan played the Shehnai in order to signify something auspicious for the whole country is happened to about, that is India was about to get freedom. This is the reason he is a legend. Now let us begin this chapter. When we think of Shehnai, first thing you will probably imagine that is wedding or a similar occasion or a function. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro playing this instrument. So students, whenever the name Shehnai comes in front of us or we listen it, so we remember wedding, because wedding is a particular occasion in which Shehnai is being played. And when Shehnai name comes, so there is the famous player of Shehnai, that is Ustad Bismillah Khan. Now we will begin reading the chapter. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal place decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. Now, students, Mughals. Now, Mughals were before the Britishers. Mughals ruled India before the Britishers came to India. There was very famous Mughal ruler Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence. Why did he ban? Because of its shrill, unpleasant sound. Now, ban means did not allow, prohibited. Shrill, very sharp. So, pungi's sound was very sharp and it was unpleasant, means unhappy. So, that's why he disliked it and he banned it. Pungi became the generic name. Generic name? Generic name means a name given to a group as a whole. So here the group of musical instruments that has generic name, that is Pungi. Reeded noise maker means reeded means wind instruments which have reeds like flute, means the air blows through the one kind of instruments. Such a group of instruments we can say here Pungi, that is the generic name for the whole one. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. So some people thought that it will be revived. Revived means here brought back to life, means it will come back again. And a barber of a family of professional musicians. So there was a barber who was during that time present, and he was from the family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace. Now that barber was having access to the royal palace means who was going to the royal palace for the professional music. So he decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. Now what is the tonal? Tonal means sound. So sound quality of the pungi was been decided by the barber to be improved. So next see what happens. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. He played the instruments before royalty and everyone was impressed. Now see, you can see in this picture there is a creation of barber, and so barber, as he decided to bring back to life the pungi, so he made certain changes in that version. It means that pungi is the ancestor, we can say, of Shehnai. So in this picture we can see the Shehnai. So how he did create it? So he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. So he took the one stem and it was having natural hollow. Hollow means empty from inside. So that stem was very longer and it was having empty from inside. It was broader than the pungi. So size of the that particular instrument was broader, longer than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. And then he made the 7 holes on that pipe, and then he started playing it, and he kept his fingers on those holes, and whenever he required, he was closing and opening those holes. So it has created soft and melodious sound, and that's why it was the successful experiment by the barber. Now he played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. So royalty means people from king's family or royal family. So in front of them he played that instrument and everybody was impressed. So he was successful. So next see what happens. The instrument so different from the pungi had to be given a new name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a nai, means barber, he instrument was named Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. So now here the instrument so different from the pungi had to be given a new name. And what was the new name? That was Shehnai. Now see what is the, you can see the name Shehnai. In here in red color I have written here Shaha, means it was played first in Shahas, means in front of the royalty. So during those times Shahas were called as the royalty. So in front of royal family it was being played, and then it was played by Nai, means barber. That's why its name was being kept as the Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means promising to bring good fortune. It means good omen. So that sound was so melodious, and that's why it was being considered as the auspicious. Today also it is being considered as the auspicious. And for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component. Indispensable component means without which a piece of work cannot be done. Means it is very important component of any North Indian wedding. So in North Indian wedding, without Shehnai, it is not be going to happen. So in this way, Shehnai name was being established. So next, see what happens. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So now see, in past days, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat. Naubat is the Urdu word. So it means traditional, a group of 9 instruments. Now see here, ensemble means a group. So group of traditional group of 9 instruments found at royal court. It was being called as the Naubat, and the Shehnai was the part of that Naubat. Till recently, it was used only temples and weddings. So, the credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So, now only 2 places it was being used, but the credit for the Ustad Bismillah Khan goes because he made it at the classical stage. He brought it at the classical stage. Now see next what is there. So in the picture you can see Ustad Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So story starts from here of Bismillah Khan. He was a 5-year-old boy, so he was playing Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. So it means he is from Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple. So there was a temple nearby that Dumrao estate. Why was he going there? He was going in that temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. So at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg. So he was going there for singing, and at the end of that he was always getting 1.25 kg laddu, and it was being given by local Maharaja as the prize. And now this person, after 80 years, you can see in the picture, he travelled long and receiving the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So next see what happens. Born on 21 March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. His father Paigambar Baksh and other parental ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Now see, Bismillah Khan, who was also belonging from the family of musicians, who born on 21 March 1916, and his ancestors, his grandfather Rasul Baksh was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. His father Paigambar Baksh and other parental ancestors. Parental ancestors means relatives, old relatives. They were also great Shehnai players. So here we are getting the background of Bismillah Khan. Okay, so next we will see what is there. The young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now it is being called as the Varanasi, Bismillah Khan was fascinated watching his uncle's practice the Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai, and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Now see. So what happened when Bismillah Khan was a child? So he went to his maternal uncle's house. Where is it? It was in Banaras. Now it is Varanasi. So Bismillah observed his uncle's practice on Shehnai and he was fascinated. Fascinated means he was got attracted. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle. So due to his love, due to his attraction towards Shehnai, so very soon he was accompanying his uncle named Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras. So his uncle was going to Vishnu temple of Banaras. He was employed to play the Shehnai at Vishnu temple of Banaras. So when Ali Baksh was playing this Shehnai, at that time Bismillah Khan was sitting captivated for hours on end. Captivated means having fully hold interest, and that's why he was captivated in that Shehnai's music for hours on end. On end means for a very long time. So, in this way, his interest was increasing, and that's why he accompanied his maternal uncle. Now, next, see what is there. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. The flowing water of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Now, see what happens. Slowly, he started getting lessons for the instrument that was Shehnai. So, he was practicing throughout the day for the long time, for years to become the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya, and the bank of the Ganga became the young apprentice favorite haunts. Now here apprentice means to take the training. Means many students they are doing apprentice before joining any profession. So here also he was young apprentice says favorite haunts. Favorite haunts. Haunts means here meeting place. So he was continuously going to Balaji and Mangala Maya temple and banks of Ganga, okay, where he could practice in solitude. Solitude means loneliness. So in loneliness he could practice it. So that's why he was frequently visiting these places. The flowing water of the Ganga inspired him to improvise an event, invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. So what he did, he was going there and with the flowing of water of Ganga, he was getting inspiration, and from that inspiration, he was continuously trying to improve the ragas which was considered and impossible for the Shehnai. Now see next what happens. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. So, students, at the age of 14, means at the age of yours, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference, means he went along with his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference, where he had done one performance. Recital means performance. And after that performance, there Ustad Fayaz Khan was also present, who was very renowned musician at that time. So he patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." It means do hard work. One day you will become the great musician. So, friends, students, here you can see in 1938, Bismillah Khan proved it that he is the great Shehnai player because he got break. Break means started performance. He got the chance to play at the All India Radio in Lucknow, and then everybody was listening his Shehnai, and that's why he was being often heard, as the writer says us. Next, when India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Trust with Destiny speech. So, student, as earlier we discussed, that Bismillah Khan played Shehnai on the day of independence, 15th August 1947. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. And he at that time played the rag that was Raga Kafi, and it was being played from the Red Fort before the speech of our late Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, so now let's see what is there. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Jahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. The king of the Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah played at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Gunj Uthi Shehnai. Now see, not only in India but on the foreign land also, Bismillah Khan gained name and fame for him and also for India. So, at first, he visited Afghanistan, and where King Jahir Shah was so taken in by means attracted by, charmed by his music, and that's why he gifted him Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Other souvenirs means things given in a memory of a place, person, or events. So, in memory of that person, King Jahir Shah, he gave so many things which were valuable for Bismillah Khan. The king of Afghanistan was so fascinated, but not only he, if we see film director Vijay Bhatt was also impressed after hearing Bismillah played at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Gunj Uthi Shehnai. So here he also gave the name to his film Gunj Uthi Shehnai. So movie also made on this Shehnai. Okay, let's see what is there. The film was a hit and one of Bismillah Khan's compositions. Dil ka khilona hai toot gaya turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in music, film music, were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Gunj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivasa's Kannad venture Sanadhi Apna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Now see. So Bismillah Khan was so famous musician, so famous with his Shehnai. So two film directors, they made film, and the one is Gunj Uthi Shehnai by Vijay Bhatt and another one was Kannad movie, that is Vikram Srinivasa's Sanadhi Apanna. So here you can see chart buster. Chart buster means best seller. Celluloid means cinema. So his first film was best seller, and due to having such a fame, here he got so many awards and recognition. Okay, so let's see next what happened. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So well none did he became internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. Tahar Mosiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. So students, you can see here in the picture, it is prestigious Lincoln Center Hall of United States of America. So Bismillah Khan was the first Indian musician who was being invited to perform at the Lincoln Center Hall, United States of America. He also then visited, he also took part in World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and also he took part in Osaka Trade Fair. So well known. Not only this, if you see his popularity in Tehran, there is an auditorium made by the king which was named after the Bismillah Khan. That is Tahar Mosiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. So in that way he is got acclaimed internationally. Let's see further what is there. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan were conferred on him. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, with the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness. He said, "All I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." So, dear students, Ustad Bismillah Khan grabbed so many awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, and also highest civilian award Bharat Ratna. Coveted award means given award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting. So he is greatly desired, fulfilled. He was so happy, and on the occasion of this Bharat Ratna award ceremony, he only told to the all the people of India that all I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. So he told to all the people that this is our Indian tradition, and now this tradition, this music is also being learned by the Western country people. So Western country people, they are coming to India to learn the music, that is Indian music. So why not our children should learn this music? So that is said by Ustad Bismillah Khan. In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Saab, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. But Khan Saab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. So, students, Ustad Bismillah Khan was very famous, but he was having love for our country. So that's why he was lovingly called as the Khan Saab over the world. Once what happened? once one of his student who told him that he wanted him to head Shehnai school in the USA. So he wanted to establish Shehnai school at USA, and even that student promised him to recreate. To recreate means to make the atmosphere of Banaras. Why Banaras? Because Ustad Bismillah Khan was loving Banaras and Dumrao, these places where he spent his childhood life. He learnt his art of playing Shehnai. So he was loving so much these places, and that's why he is telling us the most wonderful towns of the world for him only Banaras and Dumrao. And that's why the student was promised him to build the atmosphere, to make the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating. Replicating means by making as a duplicate copy of the Banaras, the temples also in the USA. But what was the answer of Khan Sahib? Khan Sahib said him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. So he will come if he would be able to transport the Ganga from India to USA. So it was impossible for him. Okay? So next see what happens. Later, he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan while in Mumbai. I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga, and while in Banaras I miss the unique Mattha of Numrao. So later he remembered to have said, this is why whenever I am in foreign country, and whenever he was in the foreign country, he keep yearning. Yearning means longing to see Hindustan. He keep wishing to see Hindustan, to see India. While in Mumbai, and whenever he was in Mumbai, he was having the wish to see Banaras. He was thinking about Banaras and the holy Ganga. And while in Banaras, he was missing Dumrao. So he was so much fond of all these places. Let's see ahead what is there. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So now see here, as you know, Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage of India. But one that effortlessly means without having any effort, it is accepts that David, David means very pious or devoted Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So he was the Muslim, but even though he was playing at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, so he was loving his country, and that's why he is very famous. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21 August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. He was given a state funeral and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. So see, he was so famous person, so popular person. So for him, government of India declared one day of national mourning. One day of national mourning means national sorrowing day. So government declared on the death of such a precious, priceless person the national mourning day, national sorrowing day. That's it. Thank you, dear students.